Hey y'all, Mythic Rare here, and this is another whip and chat. So feel free to whip out your work in progress, whether it be diamond painting, just like me for Craftibly craze, adult coloring, whatever you want to do. Even if you want to keep me in the background for chores or for driving. Hey, welcome to any of y'all visiting, and then of course big welcome back to my subscribers, my A1 day ones. Y'all, I cannot believe that there are 6 of you. I cannot believe that there are 6 of you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So we're probably just going to have this one from a neighbor's Outpost and this one from Donna Bass. Working up on this square here. As you can see, tons of confetti. I've had to slow my pace quite a bit on this picture because life has just been lifing. Yeah. So if my voice sounds a little off from any of my previous whip-in chats, keep in mind that those Canadian wildfires, they have some of that smoke has made its way down here to my neck of the woods, Oklahoma City. And even though we are nowhere near like what it has been up by the New England part of the country, I am sensitive enough to where I've been basically coughing this whole entire time since the fires had began. And I've switched up my nasal spray. I've been taking Zyrtec almost all around the clock like it's been Pez, and I haven't really well, okay, I have seen a little bit of improvement, but it hasn't been much. I am so thankful that I made that new patient appointment when I did on the 26th, because oh boy, am I going to be using it. And then because of certain things going on, you know, not just with my breathing, but like things that I've been hearing coming on down the pike from the economy, just haven't been going out much. And then with that being said, my opinions will probably offend you. Sorry, not sorry if you're sensitive to news, recent goings on, any of that jazz. Please enjoy some of my other videos. Take a hard left. This is now your opportunity to click out because, yeah, like it just is what it is. And I am just gonna try to keep myself as real as possible with, without getting myself canceled. So, yeah. A few things have gone on with the news and what I've heard about the economy. Like people probably feel a certain way one way or the other, but yeah. Me and my boyfriend went to go see the End of the Spider-Verse movie like last week. We watched the first we watched the first one, Into the Spider-Verse, and that was like the sequel to that came out last week. We went and we got the poster. I know, like, for other countries, they're just now seeing it, and they're seeing like these subtle things that a certain folks had probably snuck into the visuals of the movie that that they didn't appreciate, so now certain countries are banning it. But nah, my boyfriend's just, he's into superheroes and stuff, so I just thought, like, nice little outing, and then we get this exclusive poster besides. And it is like a 23 by 35, so it's kind of a weird size, and we were looking all over to see, like, could we find frames for this in Hobby Lobby and such, and just because Hobby Lobby is the closest thing to me, and yeah, we couldn't find a frame of that size inside the store. Now, mind you, I'm probably going to just order it off of Amazon when I squirrel away a few bucks, because to get anything custom framed, like, I did it 2 years ago for my very first, like, big diamond painting, Baby Yoda. It's 60 by 80. So of course, like, almost all of the diamond paintings I do now are roughly that size, but that was the first time that I went from a 30, like a 35 by 50 sizes constantly, to like a 60 by 80. It was like the biggest diamond painting I had ever done. That was like the third diamond painting that I had ever done, actually. And then no, you know what? It was the second diamond painting I ever did. And it was my first square that I ever did too. And then I just, like, I finally found my love for, I fell in love with squares because of that diamond painting. But yeah, I got him framed, and for the particular frame that I wanted, because I wanted it to go with all the stuff that Alex's brother had for his brand new apartment, cost me $700 to do the custom frame. It was not cheap, and this was 2021 prices. So yeah, y'all can only imagine how much it would have cost now, right? And then so yeah, anyways, back to the present. I know that on Amazon we can pick it up for like 56 bucks. I just need to scroll away some money from it. And then I know I'm like been hinting about it, been talking about it, but it is actually a thing, y'all. Like, yes. This is why I'm gonna be kind of slowing down on my unboxings and things for the channel. If y'all don't know what this is, I think you'll know once I open this up. Yes. Well, that is in its hidey hole. That's been spent because it's like getting towards the end of the pay period. Just in case, because I need oil change, a few extra bucks, and then, yes, hello, George Washington. I understand there are 17 of you there. Excuse me. So, yeah, with finding out certain things about the economy, and then especially finding out about student loans, and like hearing from other other folks across the country that um certain places are, well, I mean, like, it was pretty public. The FTX stock crashed, and then that led a few other banks, like I believe it's First National and then Silicon Valley Bank, to collapse. And then because of that, the folks in those areas, they were having a hard time getting cash for things, or their credit lines would be frozen and such. And yeah, it just, I've been on this, I've been like forced onto this path ever since the end of 2019, to, instead of trying to like keep up with keep up with everybody else, and like have all these nice things, get them on credit, like the car accident and then like the surgery with my knee, it basically dropped the hammer on me, and it forced me to start getting wise with my money. And then just like hearing how people in certain places, because these banks are failing, I'm just like, well, I've kind of gone and like Dave Ramsey baby steps. I saved my 1,000 in my savings account, like in case life just happens. And I had like a whole bunch of teeny little debts. And I was negative 264 in my bank account at my lowest point. This was like just after the car accident, just after I had come back from surgery and such. And yeah, I like a 10-hour day was nothing. A 12-hour day was nothing. I was regularly doing 16-hour days. And I did a I did debt snowflakes, because I had a whole bunch of little debts that were having to be paid all at once. And then I did, like, the little snowflakes became a snowball. And then I started taking out the bigger debts. And then I went and I started paying off like bigger things with it. Like, I paid my previous allergy office in Phoenix, who I had an outstanding balance with them, and they were pretty much on deck to send it to collections. I paid them just before it was about to go to collections, like literally the day before. And then I took care of the rest of the balance for my surgery. After that, I kept on going, and this is while I was still commuting back and forth between Phoenix and Oklahoma to see Alex. I paid off stuff for the surgery. I wound up making significant progress on my car. And then it was like the pandemic, and they paused all the student loans. And I was like kind of asking my parents for advice, like, hey, like, what should I do? And they're just like, well, I don't know. I mean, if you want, you can pause them and like like take out other big debts like for your car and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I think I'm just gonna keep paying them. And then just recently the government announced that they are going to unpause the student loans. So yeah, this whole entire time haven't missed a payment. Just been keeping up with my payment plan and all the things, and I just feel like there is such a weight off my shoulders. Like, nobody has really said anything about the folks in the camp who have just kept on paying. I'm assume that we just like keep calm, keep paying on, pretty much. Like, I haven't heard anything if like the folks who are current, if they're even going to have their payments increased. I'm sure we will find out all about that in the coming days. But yeah, like, it's just things that, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like an average sort of person who, through life circumstances, has kind of been like forced to wake up, I guess you could say. Because I'm not about to like move further out into the wilds of Oklahoma, drill a well, buy up a whole bunch of land, and then start a homestead. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I might want to pick up a few extra goods for the pantry that are shelf stable. I like, like, let's start using cash for almost everything that we can, because certain folks may be experiencing difficulties getting things from their banks, or their ATMs are not like, are always like out of commission and stuff, and like scary times ahead. I'm pretty sure like all of y'all are probably wondering, like it's Father's Day, why does this particular company have things on sale? Like, why does, like, these places who don't even really cater to guys, like why are they having sales and stuff? And it's kind of because everybody's seeing the student loans and everything, and they're pulling back. They're getting ready. And but I mean, if you have a few extra bucks in your budget, and there's been certain things that you've been wanting to get, I mean, now is certainly the time. But if you can wait a little bit longer, there's probably even going to be better deals. Like, here's some things that I've noticed, right? Because my computer is a polished turd. I've had it since 2012. It's like basically old as all get out, old as a dinosaur, all right? Like, I mean, it won't even run Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I experienced frame tear while trying to do the once a month walk into my house in Final Fantasy 14 so I can just like keep the darn house, right? So so I like, no, I can't play anything worthwhile. And I have been eyeing the Ryzen 7 5900X. Or, you know, just like the 5800X, like I'm kind of, depending on the price point, I'm kind of like in there. Last year, I remember seeing that on Newegg for almost $700, and like, I don't know what prompted me. I don't know if I was just bored, curious, whatever. But I just randomly went into Newegg and saw that this processor was $350. But you know what? I'm not going to get it because I have a second binder, by the way. That's just my sinking funds, like my 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 personal spending, my passion projects, however you want to call it. Like I have a serious binder, which is the black one, and then I have like a not so serious binder. But I'm just like, you know what, I want to, but I don't have anything in there, so I'm gonna not. And if any of y'all are like me, where you're just like, you're feeling the pinch, you're feeling the pain of all these prices go up, but then you're starting to see certain luxury items, certain tech items starting to go down in price because no one can afford to buy them anymore, or no one wants to buy them anymore because they're afraid. Yeah, like we're all in this together, right? But then I've like noticed certain items have gone up in price too. Um, Say for example, well, actually, this one I know because it's been like a staple on my grocery list for years. But I love the steamer packs of broccoli. You know, you can just like toss them in the microwave 5 minutes and then like they're done. I would get the great value ones from Walmart all the time because you know broccoli is broccoli. I don't need any like fancy name brand or anything like basic steamed vegetables. Come on. Um and these great value ones would always be like 88 cents a pop. I would see them for that and for that price for sale in Phoenix when I was back living with my parents. When I'm out here in Oklahoma with my boyfriend, we're just like routine grocery run, 88 cents. 88 cents a pop all day, every day. Um, Ever since the prices started going up for everything last year, I saw that they've gone up to $1.88. Yeah. Or there's like certain things where it's like the same price for stuff, but then you get less. Um, Great example because it's kind of been a meme over the last year to maybe year and a half has been HelloFresh. When I first got them, like their meals were super duper satisfying. And like all the flavors and stuff, like I would have enough left over for another meal for myself, potentially even two. But then I noticed, like, with the droughts and everything last year, that they had to pull certain items, and it's like, okay, you know, I get it. Like, certain parts of the country are not doing so well, so they may have to substitute items or maybe even take items out. It's totally fine. Um, but then I started to notice like the meals just weren't as satisfying anymore. And then someone pointed it out on their packaging that their ground beef was shrinking. So I had a ground beef from one of their from one of their like boxes before the switch, and it said 1 pound. And then like a few boxes later, I'm like looking at the ground beef and it said 10 ounces. And I'm just like, yep, okay, we're done. Pretty much, I had one box already in progress. I let that one come. After that, I went ahead and I canceled my HelloFresh and went back to buying groceries, but I kept close to like 300 recipe cards from HelloFresh, and I put them in this huge binder. So I pretty much just like made myself a cookbook. And I will pull from that and I will be like, okay, like me and my boyfriend want to have this, or we want to do this. And then I just like certain things, and there you do kind of have to eyeball it. But if you've made that particular recipe a few times, like you can get it pretty close. And then it's like the amount that you get from HelloFresh versus what you get in the grocery store. Like what you get in the grocery store is like almost double of what they're giving you in HelloFresh. So you can make like one recipe of that, and then you'll be able to eat for almost a week. Or maybe you could like get like the slightly larger package of that and then follow the, like you could get a slightly larger package of ground beef. For example, the bulgogi meatballs. You could pick up 2 pounds of ground beef, like use almost your normal amount of panko, salt, pepper, garlic, into the actual meatballs, your regular bulldog or bulgogi sauce. And then if you get a pack of their fresh green beans, you will, and then you like make 2 cups of rice to go along with your bulgogi meatballs and your meat beans, or oh my lord, green beans. And yeah, you'll have enough to feed a solo person like the one day that you're gonna have it, and then like you'll be meal prepped for the other 4 days in the week. But yeah, I'm just like kind of noticing stuff like that. Like if you're on a meal subscription thing like HelloFresh, um definitely save your recipe cards, because if you're craving the restaurant quality food and you're in a rut but you don't want to spend money at the restaurants, like you need to stick on a budget, yeah, definitely saving your recipe cards, like trying to eyeball how much you're going to use for particular things, versus like what they would have given you in HelloFresh. It's definitely a good way to stay on track with your budget and all that. I will warn you though, like if you do not have any spices at all, probably that first grocery trip, maybe plan on having $100, maybe a couple $100 to get yourself a fully stocked like spice pantry, or at least stock the herbs and spices for the for the ethnicity or nationality of food that you always like. So for example, I'm half Filipino, so like Asian food, that has a special place in my heart for obvious reasons. Um and if you want to make the stuff from HelloFresh without having to subscribe to HelloFresh anymore, you're going to have to get sesame oil, sriracha sauce, soy sauce. If you're also going to use the soy sauce for like homemade sushi, I highly recommend reduced sodium because otherwise it will overpower fish. Um, uh, anyways, sesame oil, uh, sriracha, soy sauce, the sweet Thai chili sauce, dark soy sauce, soy glaze, and bulgogi sauce. And then, of course, for funkier stuff, you probably want to pick up gochujang as well. Actually, gochujang, surprisingly, you can find that in Walmart of all places. But certain things you would think like dark soy sauce or sweet soy glaze, you'll probably want to pick that up from your local Asian supermarket. Or if you have Amazon Prime, I know that like that's super expensive, but if you don't have an Asian supermarket near you, you can always Amazon that stuff in. Also, you'll want to look for the savory choice socks too, because they, believe it or not only does Amazon carry them, but also the grocery store carries them. Like you can pick up a box of 12 of those for a somewhat reasonable price. If you're going to be making all kinds of things, I would get chicken stock, beef stock, veggie stock. Like those will go a long way, and they're going to be shelf stable for like a very, very long time. Unlike those big cartons of the stock that they have for supermarkets. Honestly, I wouldn't get a big carton of that unless, like, you're in a situation where it's like it's a cold winter day and you're going to be using it to make soup and it's going to get used right away. Or you've got like two big recipes where you're going to use it throughout the week. If you just need like a teeny tiny little bit, try to get the little small packs of them, or even like cubes of it. Do not get the big cartons. You'll just be wasting money. I'm gonna get a drink of my coffee, y'all. One moment. Oh yeah, that's another thing too that I've noticed about getting back into the buying grocery club here is I like Nescafe Taster Choice coffee, right? Well, for the longest time, Phoenix, Oklahoma City, it did not matter. Walmart would have that coffee for like $6.65, like $6.70. didn't matter where I was in the country at the time. Like that was kind of the place everywhere I've had to shop, right? Um after the after the 2021 bout of the Rona, um they had they had like supply chain issues, and now they're kind of back in all the supermarkets now, but the coffee, like that particular coffee, goes now for almost $10 a jar. Yeah, $10 a jar. And I'm just like, we ain't having this. The Nescafe also makes kind of like an offshoot of their taster's choice called Classico. And that used to be, I think, maybe $5 per jar, but now it is like 650, 660 or so per jar. So I've been getting that instead, and I have about 5 to 6 months worth of that at any given time in our pantry. And this is exactly why I make sure that my address is hidden at all times for unboxings, because I know that if the asteroid were to come, or if things really really hit the fan and there was looting, y'all would probably be coming looking for me. Gonna make sure y'all can't find me. Just kidding. But yeah, then there's like stuff that I bought the other week where where it's still a relatively good price. Like Kraft macaroni and cheese, just your basic blue box, childhood, the gooeyest, cheesiest, you know what I'm saying? That is still a buck at Walmart. I'm just like, all right, Kraft, I gotcha. And yeah, just like this whole shopping experience, because of everything that's happening with the economy, um it's it's basically been a ride. And my boyfriend will tell you that I'm kind of like doing weird things, like the Asian has come out of me, where I have started to pick up cans of Spam, and I have added cans of Spam to my regular groceries. And I know as typical Americans, we're just like, cans of Spam, that means you're struggling. That is like mystery meat. It is gross. But it is something born out of necessity. Because in the days of World War II and Vietnam, when we had to send our soldiers clear on the other side of the world, where, mind you, even in modern day aircraft, if you leave from if you leave from San Francisco and you hop on insert name of international Asian air carrier or American air carrier here, if you wanted to fly to Tokyo, it will take you upwards of 14 hours for you to get there because you're going against the rotation of the earth. You're going to have headwinds. And I know that we have more like if anybody has gotten HelloFresh and you've gotten shrimp, you know what I'm talking about, the cryovac seal where it keeps things, like they vacuum seal everything in, it keeps things super fresh. They did not have that during those times, like during World War II in Vietnam. But they did have canning. And yeah, even though it is processed, just like you know your deli lunch meat is, it's just in one big block. That's kind of what Spam is. Having it in a can was a compact way where they could get this to their soldiers in the field and not have to worry about it spoiling, not have to worry about, you know, other things happening and potentially making people sick. Because I've done that plane ride to the Philippines before. It was 14 hours to either Hong Kong or to Tokyo, change planes, and then it's another good 2.5 hours to the Philippines from there. I mean, I'm sure it'd probably be like a 2.5 to 3 hour ride to Korea, and then if you're going somewhere like even further south, like Thailand, or you know, it astronomically long ride in an airplane, right? And of course, regular meat would spoil, but yeah, like Spam, if you fry it and you have it with eggs and rice, like that's actually quite a common Filipino breakfast. And if you wrap that all up in seaweed, maybe put some kimchi with it, really good. And of course, because you're then adding kimchi, that's gonna kind of cover up like the weirdness of the Spam. It's one of those things that is shelf stable. Yes, whenever you're buying it in the grocery store, you're doing the walk of shame. You hope that no one's in the aisle with you while you're getting it. But you know what? Hey, better than a can of Spam is better than a whole lot of nothing. Or even if you don't want Spam, pack of hot dogs. Like if you cook that $1 box of macaroni from Kraft, and you know that you're always gonna be hungry, cook a couple of hot dogs, cut them up, and mix that in with your macaroni. You'll actually be a little bit more satisfied. Or if you want to do this, I know that they have this recipe on the backside of the cylinders, but pick up a cylinder of croissants, and you can do what's called pigs in a blanket, where you basically, you pull your croissants off the roll, you lay the triangle and stuff flat, and then you roll your hot dog up in it, and then you put it on a lightly oiled or sprayed with Pam cookie sheet, and you just bake it, and then have it with a side of veggies and stuff, or like a little side salad. You got a pretty good meal. Or if you want to change it up a little bit, something that you can do too is you can, like, tortillas are still a little bit cheap. You can always get a big old pack of tortillas, and then you can pick up the fajita chicken inside of the Walmart, like, meat butcher section, right next to where they have the chicken nuggets, and then pick up like a 10 slice or a 12 slice pack of pepper jack cheese, and then you can make yourself some quesadillas with it. Like if you have burrito sized tortillas, put a couple slices of pepper jack cheese, you cook up your chicken in a second frying pan. You know, you can make quesadillas. And this is kind of what I've been doing to maybe buy a few things for the channel here and there, is I've just been kind of cutting back a little bit on what I do with my groceries. And hey, I mean, it is what it is. I know some of us on our payment plans for student loans, like, it's going to be astronomical. It's going to be astronomical for some of us younger ones in the community. And if any of y'all are watching, like, definitely try some of those struggle meal recipes. They may not be the most gourmet or most flavorful thing in the world, but they'll fill up your belly and they'll keep you going. Like, as for my financial well-being, I am doing great. I am no longer in that place that I was in a few years back. I have my phone that I'm filming this on paid off. I have my Samsung Tab S8 tablet paid off. I have my car paid off. I have a couple of credit cards that have some pretty sizable balances on them, but you know what? My savings challenge that I'm working on currently is going to take care of one of them by the time it's finished, and then I'll just have the one other credit card, and then I got my student loans. That's it. Like, those are my major debts. I know I could probably, like, sell some things off and stuff, make some extra money, and maybe have even more to put towards that. But I feel like with the money that I'm making at the job that I currently have, and I've even been, like, when my body has allowed me, even worked extra hours. Like, last week I worked myself stupid, and I basically worked from 9 in the morning till 9 at night, like last Thursday. And yeah, occasionally when I can do it, the money's great. I put it away for stuff. got that big section done. I mean, aside from going full on prepper, I feel like, you know, I'm doing relatively okay for myself, but you know, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I kind of wish that like my grandma was still with us, so then I could ask her all kinds of questions about what it was like having to raise a family during the Vietnam era. She was 96 when she passed back in 2014, and she had seen like some incredible things in her life and like tons and tons of change. And I wish now, as a person in my 30s, that she was still with us, because I would be asking that woman a ton of questions. And something that I did kind of notice about where my dad grew up in Ohio, I think is also going to happen a lot more often. Families are going to stay like pretty close now, I think. So that they can still kind of sort of like help each other out, but then it's still, like people still have their own household somewhat. Because when my dad was growing up, during those times, like when he was a young man about my age, my grandma, had her house. My dad's brother moved into the house like 2 doors down. And then I think one of my dad's uncles lived like 4 houses up the street. Everybody was kind of sort of in walking distance of each other. And then we had some other folks who were relatives who lived like maybe 20 minutes across town. But yeah, I think like that sort of thing, or adult children doing the call of shame to go back into to stay with their folks that they had previously moved out of. I think that it is going to be more of a thing. Either that, or the ones who have stayed at home all this time, they're probably not going to leave. But anyways, I've been going almost a hour, just about. So I am gonna call it here. Have a wonderful wonderful weekend, y'all, depending on when you see this. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.